It is a movement of Native peoples in the Americas against legislation they say violate treaty rights of the Indigenous community in Canada, known as the First Nations.
The budget bill actually decreases federal regulation over waterways throughout Canada, like by 90%, and also makes it easier to take reserve lands from Indigenous people. And so it's basically looks like a 21st century land grab. And so it's totally restructuring treaty rights with First Nations in Canada right now.
According to opponents of several Canadian bills, particularly Budget Bill C-45, environmental protections are weakened, making it easier for energy companies to pollute its lands and waters.
Some people still live traditionally, and that's where we hunt. You know, we need the water.
Queen was supposed to give authorization or get authorization to use that land, but the land is basically being taken from the people and used to process for coal and oil. And tar sands is a good example of how land can be swapped and taken from people.
The Idle No More movement began last November when Bill C-45 was first introduced in the Canadian government. In December, the bill was passed into law, boosting the movement's growth into the United States and around the world. Protests in solidarity with Indigenous Canadians have taken place in at least 10 states across the country and here in Washington, D.C. In the nation's capital, activists have been gathering outside the Canadian embassy to protest the bill's provisions.
Indigenous people have the prime right to their land. They should have the right to decide what that land is going to be used for. And so we're here standing in solidarity with the Indigenous people of Canada and the rights of people everywhere.
I'd like to support and show our solidarity with the chief and all our Native brothers in Canada.
Currently, dialogue is taking place between the Canadian government and Indigenous leaders to address the concerns of the First Nations. Activists say the Idle No More movement will continue protesting until their issues are resolved. Marjan Ossie, Press TV, Washington.